Hello, my name's Audrey Scanlan. I'm the Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Central Pennsylvania, making a video that you'll see on May 31st in the year 2024. We're in the season of spring convocation meetings. This year we have 3 that will be held all on Zoom. Anybody can go to any meeting that they would like, and we hope that you've registered for these meetings on our website. You can't get into them without registration. So if you'd like to attend, if you are clergy or one of our delegates or anybody who has an interest in hearing more about the reunification effort in the diocese, with the Diocese of Bethlehem, please come to one of these 3 meetings. They begin tonight, actually, on the 30th of May, and continue next week as well. I've been reflecting on the work of our diocese, certainly around reunification, but in so many other areas of the work that we do, building God's kingdom and participating in God's mission here in Central Pennsylvania. In April of 2021, I put together a packet of 5 different strategic focuses or priorities for us as a diocese. Those were shared with the Council of Trustees, with the Standing Committee, with staff, and in our convocation meetings back in 2021. We've been working hard at these 5 big chunks of work, so I'd like to give you an update, or remind you at least, of the 5 things that we've been working on, in addition to the many different committees that we have. So here are the 5 priorities in reverse order. How's that? We'll start with number 5. 5 is to develop a new system of diocesan structure, staffing, and oversight that incorporates a closer collaboration with the Diocese of Bethlehem. Well, certainly we've been working towards that, developing models to inform what it might look if we reunified. What would the geographic regions look like? How would the staff work? What would the bishop's schedule look like? What would the financial picture be? So as we continue to evolve these models for your consideration, I hope that you will join us both at spring convocation meetings and also in some meetings that we've scheduled for Zoom in July to continue to receive feedback from you. So we're well on the way with number 5. Number 4, continue to develop and hone the formation resource of the Stevenson School for ministry. In 2022, we hired Sarah Stonecipher-Boylan to be the Dean of the Stevenson School, carrying on the good work that Robin Zoka Coolidge had begun. And in the time that Sarah's been with us, the school has reached out to many other dioceses. And so now we say that the Stevenson School is hosted in the Diocese of Central Pennsylvania, because we have 5 or 6 other dioceses that use our school exclusively for the formation of their deacons or locally trained priests, for continuing education, and for lay formation. We have, I think, as many as 14 dioceses that are represented or have been represented in our student body. Our faculty come from all over the Episcopal Church and into the Anglican Church in Canada. We're growing as a Stevenson School. And that to me is very, very exciting. In this recent year, the Stevenson School has been working to develop coursework for some of our lay licensed ministries, specifically lay worship leader and lay preacher, and working in consort with the Commission on Ministry, who's developed their own pathway for licensed lay ministry. I think that we are really a leader in this area, especially in a landscape where we're experiencing a priest shortage. And so how do we continue to do the work of the church? It's by equipping and supporting lay ministers, not just saying, okay, this is now your work to do. So that's exciting work. In 2021, we talked about some necessary tweaks to our financial system, both in the way that we had been administering grants. So some of that work was consolidated and streamlined. We did rework the diocesan assessment formula, as I'm sure you're aware, and we're still working on the last part of the 3 points in that priority, which is to evaluate our investment strategy. As you know, it's just good stewardship to make sure that we stay on top of the management of our investments. We're just about to launch a investigation, and COVID came around and destabilized so much in our life and in our global economy. Our investments are managed by Episcopal Church Foundation through State Street Bank, and we're quite confident that they're being well cared for. But in the future, we will take a deeper dive into investigating if there are better resources for us. So that's number 3, finances. Number 2, complete the reshaping in the diocese through Shape by Faith. As you remember, in 2019, before the pandemic, we launched this diocesan-wide reshaping initiative, which invited congregations to take a long look at trends in their church life, in their parish life, in opportunities for collaboration, exploring what is their Anglican identity and how are they living out their call to serve in their local context. We had originally imagined that each of our 7 convocations would come up with their own individual plan or one plan for each convocation as the result of Shape by Faith, but the project has taken a different direction, which is really to encourage collaboration with interfaith partners, with nonprofit partners, with ecumenical partners, and with other Episcopal partners in strengthening the life of our congregations. And so Shape by Faith has and continues to grant money. We've put aside $2.5 million to grant over the period of several years. And we're just about in the middle of that. So I'm excited about the work that we're doing with Shape by Faith. And if you've lost track of that work or would like to have us come and do a refresher with you in your parish to re-engage that discernment work, we would be delighted to do that. And then finally, the number 1 priority is what I would call a ontological priority, something that is about our very being as individuals and as a diocese. And that is to continue to build and strengthen the idea and the understanding of being the beloved community across our diocese in all the ways that we work and worship together. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. used the image of the beloved community in a way to talk about inclusivity and justice, a way to talk about peace, especially to build a community of racial reconciliation and equity in our country. Here in our diocese, our Dismantling Racism group continues in its work, now 4 or 5 years into their work, developing toolkits for parishes to explore their own history and racial story in their parish. They've also most recently sponsored the Sacred Ground trainings. That's a resource from the Episcopal Church that in 8 or maybe 10 sessions, it's been a while since I did it, offer some really good formation around all the history in our country, around different ethnic groups and racial groups, and the formation of our country and our people, and our racial identity. Both injustices experienced by people in our country, which has been a difficult learning for us, but so important. So we continue this work. We have a multicultural missioner now in the diocese, the Reverend Salal Kamran, who is the new rector at St. Paul's in Harrisburg, and he's working on building relationships with people in our congregations to further their understanding of our racial identity and our call as Christians, always to work for justice and peace and reconciliation. So that's a lot of work, friends. On top of everything that each committee and congregation is doing, certainly we continue work in migration ministry. We're working with our Saving Lives, Ending Gun Violence Committee, which has expanded now to include an interfaith coalition called With One Voice. We have Alert in Lancaster County, which serves locally but also nationally and internationally in doing relief work. And most recently, our Creation Care Committee has put together a plan of real importance for our diocese. We'll be considering it at convention. The Council of Trustees has approved the Creation Care Plan, and I'm excited about us taking a diocesan-wide stance and finding a commitment to continue to reducing our emissions and our greenhouse gases, and paying attention to the footprint that we make, the carbon footprint here in central Pennsylvania. That's a lot. That's a lot. I'm grateful for all of you who continue to work in this diocese. Here's a prayer for the mission of the church. Almighty God, you sent your Son, Jesus Christ, to reconcile the world to yourself. We praise and bless you for those whom you have sent in the power of the Spirit to preach the gospel to all nations. We thank you that in all parts of the earth, a community of love has been gathered together by their prayers and their labors, and that in every place your servants call upon your name, for the kingdom and the power and the glory are yours forever and ever. Amen. Now, we're going to do something a little different in the next few weeks. Next week, I'll be back on with Bishop Kevin to do our monthly update on reunification. But after that, in our summer months, we're going to enjoy a series of videos featuring women from around the diocese. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of women's ordination in the Episcopal Church. And so Cindy Moore, the president of the ECW in our diocese, has put together a series featuring short videos of extraordinary women doing wonderful work in our diocese, lay and ordained. That video series is titled Women's Voices Heard. So in the month of June and July, while I'm off at General Convention and doing a bunch of other things and maybe taking a little vacation in August, that series of videos will be playing. So next week you'll see me again for our first Friday with Bishop Kevin, and after that it'll be over to the ECW for a celebration of women's ministries. Until then, may God bless you and guide you, keep you always.